testing.com. This is the fifth Python tutorial. So today we will discuss about the functions. Very important topic. Today we will discuss like a simple function, then a function with parameters, then function with the return value, and we will be using that function in our programming language where we will be using. I will let you know all the things. So let's open Python function. So basically Python function or any programming language function, what it is, actually this is something like that you want to reuse your code. For example, I have created a function for any purpose like to add two number or to print something or to perform any operation. I have created this function. So the team members who are working with me may require that thing also. So they do not need to create or write same code again and again. They will use my function and they will start their work or they will continue their work. So let's see in that new definition why. A function in a Python is the reusability of the code that performs basic tasks. Function help reduce code duplication, improve readability, and make programs easier to maintain. Why use functions? Basically reuse again code, make programs modular, improve readability, and reduce the error. Functions in Java, the syntax will be something if you write definition means def somewhere. So your Python will get to know that you are creating a function over here. Now this is your function. Then you can give the function name and the body of that function. It's simple. Let's see in real example. For example, I am on my editor. I want to create a function to print something or to welcome someone. So I'm saying that this is a function. I will use braces and in colon I will say that print and I will say like welcome at dot way to testing. Okay, and then I will say I want to use this function. So I will say that print simply or just directly you can call greet function. No issue. Directly you can call. So as soon you will call this function, so you do not need to do any operation. So you can say it has been printed out. So you have written a print statement one time, but you can use it whenever you want and how many times you want to use, you can use it. Okay. So this is the code reusability basically. You can see this one. I do not need to write again this line again, and just I need to call this function. Also, your parameter is nothing that you can passing any parameter. For example, I'm saying that you need to pass the name over here, and you will say uh, space. I will use that name here as like Mr. and then I will use that name as a name. Okay. So now whenever I have made is a parameterized function. Parameter means something you need to give some value. Okay. So I need to give here it is known as a parameter. When I will give it value, it will become argument. So what is the now this function whenever it will be called, it needs a argument. Okay. That argument here it is called as a parameter and then it will be used here as well. So suppose that I want to call like I will say that with and John and then I want to call it as a big. So I will run this one. So you will see simple. It will be welcome at Mr. John, Mr. Vic. Okay. So in this way you can reuse your function. It is a parameterized function. Or simply take a suppose that you want to create a function to add two numbers. Okay. So I'm creating a function of sum. It will add two numbers and it will print their sum. Simple. Okay. So it will say that sum is like plus y. Okay, so whenever I want to perform any add operation, I will simply call this function sum and I will pass my values. I want to sum 1000 with this one. Okay, so I do not need to write every time like print statement or something. It will print the values and give it to me. Sum is something like this one. Okay, again I want to perform the sum operation. Suppose that like any lot number you can take with any number. So now I do not need to write again the code. It will just print the sum of both the number. Now the function with the return statement. Okay. Suppose that I want to perform some operation So this is a simple function that you are creating a function, and it's you can say performing operation. So you can use that function multiple times. Now function with the return. This is the actual thing. So what is the thing? Suppose that you are creating again. I will take example of sum. Okay. So let's take two numbers x and y. Any you can take any variable. I'm taking x and y, and I'm saying that instead of printing, just give me the return. Return means just give me return what x plus y sum of this one. Simple. And now, so whenever you will call this function, it will return the value of x plus y. If, for example, I'm take some value. I will say that sum is, and I will call this function sum, and I will pass the value like this one, comma this one. So whenever I will call this function, let me call this one. You can say sum is the 77. This one. So what is happening actually when you are calling this function need to parameter. So I will pass the argument 2000 and 75,000. It will add to the perform whatever the operation you have given here, and it will return that value. I will use that value here. So this is something like the function, which are simple function with nothing. Just you want to see definition, read, and here you are printing something like the print about that way to testing.com. Okay, so this is a simple function, and second function is the parameterized function. Like we want to do the multiply, you can say multiplication of two numbers, and you are printing some this one multiplication is multiplication is, and you are saying x is to y. So I will take here the variable x comma y. So something like this one you will do. So whenever you want a simple function, simply call it as a greet, and you will see that whatever you have written will come here. I want to use multiplication. I will use multiply my two numbers like 20 comma 30. So it will multiply and print this one. And suppose that you want to return some value from a function, then you can use this one. So function are very important. So in your actual coding, you will be creating the function, you will be using that function as well. For example, that in automation you want to perform a function to click operation. So you will create a function like click, okay, like definition, and you will create a function like click, and this function will click on a web element. So you will pass here the web element. So whenever in your automation multiple times you will be using, so you will be using this one. So you once you have created, you will use this function at multiple times. So this is a brief intro about the, you can say, function. Tomorrow we will discuss one much more important topic, which is a collection. So please join. So thank you for watching. Have a great day.